Trigger warning. This podcast is about grief. Whether you are newly bereaved or whether you have been stuck in grief for years, I do hope this podcast brings you some comfort. Grief is such a universal experience, but we all do it differently. This podcast is not about fixing you or forcing the healing process because there is no cure for grief. It can only be experienced, absorbed, loved and cared for. So whether you are doing it privately behind closed doors or like me, you are kicking and screaming your way through, let's support each other. My name is Louise Bates, and my hope is that this podcast shines a light on your path and gives you the strength to navigate your way through the grieving process. I'm sending you so much love and support, and I look forward to sharing this journey with you. Hello and welcome to this episode of A Gift for Grief, the space where we talk honestly, gently and sometimes with a bit of humour, because we need it, about grief, loss, healing and everything in between. Today we're diving into a topic that might raise an eyebrow or two: the hidden gifts in grief. Now, if you're currently knee-deep in grief, you might be thinking, where is the gift in grief? And honestly, I get that. I'm not here to pretend this pain is anything other than brutal. Grief is messy and exhausting. But with time, reflection and a lot of healing, many people, including myself, I'm nearly 9 years down the road from my son Matthew dying, you begin to notice something quietly unfolding beneath the surface. And while grief can shatter us, it can also shape us. It carves out space where gifts, yes, gifts can quietly grow. The gift could be a deeper strength, resilience, wisdom, or something else. So if you're feeling broken, sceptical, or just curious, stick around because there will be people listening that need to know that this is possible. In today's episode, I want to explore some of the unexpected gifts that can emerge through grief. And I've numbered them for the sake of structure, but in real life, these don't arrive in any particular order. They come when they come. Sometimes they come quietly. And when they show up, they may bring some guilt into the mix. And this is normal. Happy guilt is also a thing. So let's begin. Number 1, let's start with strength and resilience. Now, grief has a way of testing us, of bending us in ways we never imagined. It can feel like everything inside us is breaking. But here's the truth. Even when we break, we can rebuild, and that's resilience. It's the hidden strength we don't realise we have until we absolutely need it. It's getting out of bed when it feels impossible. It's choosing to keep living even when your heart feels shattered. Grief shakes the very foundation of who we are. In the thick of it, we often feel fragile, overwhelmed and lost. But here's the paradox. The very act of waking up with a broken heart, of putting one foot in front of the other, of crying, missing, longing, that is strength. You are not weak because you cry. You are not broken because you miss them every single day. You are resilient because you carry all of that and you still keep going. Grief doesn't ask you to be perfect. It asks you to be present, to stay and to sit with the pain, to let the tears come and not push them down. And over time, whether it's months or years, we look back and realise we've grown. We've survived something unimaginable and we're stronger than we ever thought we could be. Sometimes resilience isn't loud or heroic. It's simply breathing through the next minute, being present with your grief because feeling is healing. Number 2, empathy. Once you've known deep loss, your heart softens in a new way. You begin to notice other people's pain more vividly. You can see the grief behind someone's eyes and the heaviness in their silence, and instead of turning away, you lean in. Grief makes you gentler, more understanding, and more human. You start offering tissues that you keep in every pocket just in case, and you become softer, kinder, mildly more weepy, but also surprisingly wise. Basically, grief turns you into a deeply feeling, slightly soggy human who just gets it. And in a fast-paced world with 24/7 news and social media and busy people, empathy is like a superpower. Number 3, appreciation. There's nothing like losing someone or something to show you how fragile and sacred life is. Suddenly, the little things matter. A laugh, a sunset, stroking a puppy. Grief pulls you out of autopilot and makes you pay attention. In time, you realise that every moment is a gift, even the messy ones. Yes, even the ones where you're crying in the supermarket because you just saw your loved one's favourite biscuits on the shelf. I know, I've been there, and I even wrote a blog about it. Number 4, emotional depth. Grief cracks you open, and in that opening there's depth. Similar to empathy, you start to feel more, see more, and understand more. Your emotional vocabulary grows. You understand sorrow, but also joy, beauty, and even peace in a fuller, richer way. You become deeper because you've gone deep. And now you cry at adverts, inspirational quotes, and literally any video where you see someone being reunited with their dog. It might not feel like a gift, but believe me, it is. It's a gift for the world. Number 5, perspective. Suddenly, what used to bother you doesn't anymore. You begin to see life differently. What really matters and what doesn't. The petty dramas fade, the small moments become the big ones, because grief teaches you to zoom out, and what a gift that is. I don't care what people think of me anymore. Well, I care what my close friends and family think, but not the entire world like I used to. I'm no longer a people pleaser. That is definitely a gift. Number 6, compassion. You show up differently for others, especially those who are hurting. You will find the right words to say, or you will know when you need to sit quietly with someone in silence. You start carrying the pain of others more gently because you remember your own. And before you know it, you're the person everyone calls when they need a pep talk or just a really good ear. Compassion is a beautiful gift. Number 7, spiritual growth. For many, grief cracks open the bigger questions about meaning, about what's next, about connection beyond the physical. It can deepen faith or shift it. Whether you find comfort in God, the universe, angels, Mother Earth or nature, or the mystery of life itself, grief can become like a spiritual teacher. But don't panic, because a spiritual awakening won't turn you into that annoying guru or a Buddhist monk. And if being an atheist is your thing, that works too. Everyone will eventually find comfort in whatever belief system they choose, and each one is a gift to that person. Number 8, authenticity. When you've been broken open, it's hard to go back to pretending, because grief strips away the masks. You can stop pretending you're okay when you're not. You can stop wasting time on things that don't feel real. You can start living more truthfully, and honestly, it's way more freeing. Plus, you save a ton of energy by not pretending to enjoy small talk. I love the gift of authenticity. Number 9, patience. Grief moves at its own pace. It doesn't care about timelines or expectations, and so you learn to wait, to breathe, to be okay with not being okay. It teaches you to be patient with the process, with others and with yourself. It may take a while for this gift to land, but be patient. Number 10, creativity. Many people going through grief turn to art, writing, music or movement as a way to process their loss. And what comes out is often raw and beautiful. Some people start a charity or a cause or find some helpful meaning. I wrote 2 books about grief, and I'm not a writer. I also created this podcast, and I had no podcasting experience, and I was terrified of microphones. I also like painting stones and pebbles in Matthew's memory, and I leave them in special places. And I'm certainly no artist, but I find it very therapeutic. It's amazing what's inside every single one of us. I believe we all have something to offer. But you don't have to do any of these things. You can grieve privately and quietly and do your own thing. Whatever way suits you is the right way. Number 11, connection. When you've been through grief, you can spot your people. You form deeper bonds with others who've been in the fire, and those connections, they're often the most real. The fact that you're listening to me on this podcast, in this moment, we've connected. Welcome to your grief tribe. You are officially one of us now, and you are my kind of people. We don't have a secret handshake yet, but what we do have is a bottomless pot of tea, 0 judgment, and a whole lot of love. Number 12, gratitude. Definitely not in the beginning, maybe not even for a long while, but eventually gratitude finds a way back in. In time, you will connect with gratitude for the time you had with your loved one, for your beautiful memories, and for the love that still exists. Over time, gratitude may also extend to simple comforts like moments of rest, supportive people, and small joys that bring a sense of peace. Gratitude doesn't cancel out grief, but it can sit next to it. Welcome gratitude in because it is very healing. Number 13, purpose. Grief can change your entire life. We know this. It can change who we are, often leaving us feeling lost or questioning our place in the world. While the version of ourselves before the loss may never come back, this transformation can create space for something new to emerge. In the midst of grief, people often begin to reflect deeply on meaning, values, and direction. Over time, a sense of purpose may develop, not necessarily through dramatic changes, but through quiet, intentional actions like helping others, raising awareness, or living with a greater compassion. Purpose doesn't eliminate grief, but it can give it meaning. It becomes a way to move forward, to grow through pain, and sometimes to be a source of support for others facing their own losses. You might find yourself saying, "If I'm still here, there's a reason." My favourite Rumi quote is, "We are all just walking each other home." Number 14, boundaries. Now, boundaries are the gifts you give yourself because grief teaches you where your limits are. You learn to say no more often. You learn what protects your space, your peace. Grief gives you permission to honour what you need unapologetically. You start to recognise what truly protects you. Maybe it's stepping away from people who don't understand your pain. Maybe it's taking breaks from social events that feel too heavy. Maybe it's simply allowing yourself quiet time without feeling guilty. Grief gives you permission to honour what you need, unapologetically and without explanation. You stop justifying your choices. You stop overpromising to make others comfortable. Instead, you begin prioritising your own emotional well-being, and in doing so, you don't just survive grief, you begin to heal on your own terms. Number 15, wisdom. It's not the kind of wisdom that comes from books or an inspirational quote. It's the kind that comes from loss, from heartbreak, from surviving, when you realise that time isn't guaranteed, that the people you love can be gone in a moment, that life, in all its beauty, is also unbelievably fragile. It's the wisdom of knowing what truly matters and how fleeting everything is. It's the kind that shapes the way you live from now on. This kind of wisdom doesn't make you clever or louder. It often makes you quieter, more observant. This is wisdom that changes how you live. You carry this grief-born wisdom quietly, like a lantern, not to light the whole world, but just enough to find your next step, and sometimes to help light the way for someone else. Number 16, clarity. Grief is a brutal reminder that life is fragile, and strangely that can wake us up. We may start thinking about our own mortality and what we'll leave behind. It invites us to live in a way that matters and to make the most of our time. It challenges us to ask questions like, who do I want to spend my time with? What brings me peace? What legacy do I want to leave behind? How do I want to live my life? Many people find that after loss, they start living more intentionally. They make braver choices, they set boundaries, they stop pretending. Because when someone you love dies, you can't help but feel how precious your own life is. Grief, it sharpens your vision. I'm nearly 9 years down the road, and my grief feels like an old friend now. I still miss Matthew dreadfully every day, and it will always be sad that my son is dead. I can still have tsunami moments and be brought to my knees by a song on the radio, or seeing someone who looks like him, or for some random moment that I just bloody miss him. But that's okay. I know now that I will come out the other side. I may be dripping wet, bedraggled and exhausted, but I know I will survive the grief wave. I've been doing it for nearly 9 years, and I've learned how to surf the waves. I've also made peace with my grief, even on the days I get overwhelmed by a tsunami. I've found contentment, but mostly I think I've found clarity, and that is a gift. I believe my son Matthew has graduated to the next level, and one day I will graduate too. No one gets out alive from this life. I also believe Matthew exists in some form somewhere. His energy, his consciousness, his soul, whatever you like to call it, I believe lives on, and this gives me peace. Even though I still miss him and always will, my spiritual mind reminds me he is in a place of pure unconditional love. Now that doesn't make me religious or preachy, it's just a gut feeling I have. I still miss him and always will, but it's important to remember I can feel joy that he still exists on some plane, and at the same time feel sad that I'm grieving. My final reflection is that there may be many more gifts to be unwrapped. They're like glimmers of light in the darkness. They don't erase the pain, but they do have the potential to soften it. They add meaning to the sorrow, and they help you rebuild, not as who you were, but as someone new, someone shaped by love, loss, and life. I hope you can see now why I like the title, A Gift for Grief. If not, I do hope you found something in this episode that loosened or lightened your grief in some way. Even if just connecting with this podcast gave you some comfort, it was worth the while. So if you're grieving right now, I want to say this. You are not alone. And while it may not feel like it yet, grief may be growing something in you that will one day feel like a gift. Not because the loss was worth it, but because you are worth rising from it. So I want to leave you with a gentle invitation. Think about your own grief journey, whether you're in the middle of it or further along the road. Can you notice one small thing that grief has taught you or changed in you? Maybe it's patience, maybe it's deeper empathy, maybe it's knowing how to be there for someone else. Whatever it is, honour it, because that growth matters. Thank you for being with me today. This episode is my gift for your grief. Please feel free to share it. Until next time, be gentle with yourself and remember, feeling is healing. Thank you for listening to this episode of A Gift for Grief. If you found it comforting, please consider subscribing to my podcast so you don't miss any future episodes. Please also leave a review because it helps others to find the show. Together we can help each other become more grief literate. To learn more about my personal journey and my 2 books on grief, visit www.louisebates.co.uk. The music on this podcast was written and recorded by my son Matthew Bates and can be found on his 2 albums, Fight Back and Kaleidoscope. And finally, if you're struggling with grief or concerned about your mental health, please reach out to your doctor. You don't have to go through this alone. Until next time, be gentle with yourself and thank you for listening.